Welcome back. State Representative Thad Viers joining me this morning made it clear that he's the first person to throw his hat in the ring for the 7th Congressional District seat, which is a new district here in South Carolina. Represents basically from the beach up into the PD, Florence County, Dillon County, Marlborough County, Chesterfield County, Georgetown County. If you're watching us in South Carolina, chances are you are going to be in the new 7th District unless the federal government decides to tweak that some. Want to ask you, we were talking about taxes, fair taxes. You talk a lot about Ronald Reagan, and a lot of critics of people who point to Reagan say he raised taxes. He did a lot of things that were very un-Tea Party, very what is currently happening, I think, in South Carolina politics.
Yeah, I've heard those criticisms, but if you compare to what he did to what's going on now, it's night and day. I would still argue he was the Tea Party before the Tea Party became cool. You know, we have, I think, a leadership vacuum in this country where, unfortunately, people go to Washington with the best intentions, and instead of changing Washington, Washington changes them. And I think we just got to get back to basics. I mean, you know, it's not that difficult. We just have to have the courage and conviction to tackle the problems, the serious problems. And what I see as the serious problems that our nation is facing today is things that are just common sense to every one of our viewers. For instance, why should a state have to enact or enforce illegal immigration laws? And why should the federal government sue a state from protecting their own citizens, like is happening in Arizona? You know, we're looking at probably potentially getting sued by the Department of Justice for our voter ID bill. Why is it so crazy that you need to have a picture ID to vote? I mean, the pillars of our democracy are the ballot box and the jury box. You know, those should be protected. Why should we have to go, why should our common sense solutions have to be defended in court against an administration that wants to strike it down? You know, Socastee Elementary School in my district, you know, we have almost 25% of the students there are English as a second language. You know, the taxpayers are paying for those students. You know, those are jobs for future generations that potentially could go to non-American citizens. The healthcare costs are being driven. I mean, we need to really ask ourselves, does this nation want to be like a California, where we struggle every month to pay our bills, and, you know, we allow things that just, the America we grew up in is not there anymore. That's what I want to go back to. You know, I was very blessed to grow up in this community, graduate from Socastee High School, and I want to give back. And public service is a high calling, and people have a lot of misconceptions about what that entails, but I'm not running for the State House again. I made it clear when I announced for Congress. It was a gut check, but I believe that courage and conviction and leadership is what this country needs, and I think this country needs someone like me in Washington to represent their interests.
A criticism when we posted on Facebook that you were going to be running and this, that, and the other thing, a criticism that popped up was just that. You served 5 terms in the State House. Mm-hmm. Now you're running for the U.S. House. Mm-hmm. You're not very old. I know you're younger than me. Are you a career politician? They're saying we don't need career politicians.
I would not consider myself a career politician. I know when I got elected to the State House in 2002, in a new seat, Horry County got, there were 3 state senators. Those 3 state senators served in the state legislature in the State House in the 50s. In my first term, 2 of them died in office, and 1 of them retired, and now he's a school board member in Charleston. I'm not a career politician. You know, I've been a sponsor of you know, term limits. I'm a sponsor of this bill right now in the state legislature for term limits. But you know, I have the abilities and experience and the knowledge of a lot of these policies that we're going to be facing in D.C. And if you look at it, in South Carolina, traditionally, their congressmen and, you know, leadership and senators in the Senate have come from the state legislature. It's on a bigger stage, but, you know, we deal with a lot of issues. We deal with constituents. We take votes. You know, we take sometimes controversial votes. And I've had my share of controversy with some of the votes. I was one of 7 people to vote against Obama's stimulus money because I challenged the fact that if we wouldn't take it, the sky would fall, and it didn't. You know, but no, I'm not a career politician. I'm not running to be congressman for life. I'm running to represent this area in Congress.
And real quick, last question for you. Give you about 30 seconds for this. I want you to talk to the person out there who is either without a job, living on a fixed income, and watching the Dow go down, 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 it seems like at least every day, maybe every other day. What do you say to that person? What will Thad Viers do for them to improve their situation?
Here's what Thad Viers will do. I'll meet with him. I'll listen to him. I will try to help him out to the best of my abilities by creating an environment where they could potentially get a job. But don't misunderstand. I do not believe the government should be, producing jobs. I believe in the private sector and the marketplace. I believe the marketplace is the best to handle the increase in jobs. What we need to do is to make sure private businesses can compete and have the money to compete through lower taxes, through less regulation, so they can hire the people. It's tough out there. No question it's tough. And I think we need people to listen more and talk less. And I'll do anything I can to help them out, guide them in the right way. But, it's tough, and I'm going to do my best to take their concerns to Washington. I know what it's like growing up less than I was on reduced lunch at one point and breakfast at Sockasty. I grew up in a trailer park, so I know what it's like where Christmases aren't as big as my friends at school. But I believe in this country, and I believe in the promises that our founders made that are secured in liberty and freedom, and I think we can overcome it. We just have to keep working at it.
All right. State Representative Thad Viers, thanks for being with me this morning.
Thank you for letting me come on.
I think we'll see you here maybe a couple more times
Probably,
before June next year.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Thad.
Thank you.
All right. Stay with us. We will be right back.